I gotta talk about is
Alafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Bami, and today we're coming through with another 3 with this triangle defense today. We're going triangle defense today, man. We got the big chief, we got the chief of the stones up in this thing, man. So we're ready to make this thing do what it do and be what it be. So without further ado, fellas, real quick shout out to all the tribe members, all the new channel subscribers, all the people who've been showing love, all the people who've been showing the love in the comments, saying the prayers and covering us with prayers and blessings and protections and all that good ish. So we're here to get this thing cracking today, man, and the essence of gold and immortality. So with that, fellas, peace and blessings, man. Appreciate y'all for joining me today, fellas.
Yes, peace to the God, peace to the chiefs.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Yeah, man. Look, the guys is here. So look, without further ado, let's not waste no time and get into it. So there's been a lot, as always, like every time we chop it up, there's always something new developing and it's always stuff that we already had in store. So I caught a little bit of I caught some happy wins today, man. I saw that some of these alphabet boys went and ran up on the wrong tribe of folks, but the wrong crew of people, man. So Big Chief, I heard something about some ice was trying to melt, and it tried to melt on the Haitian squad, but the Haitians stop by saying them Zoes was like, man, we ain't having that bullshit today. So, Big Chief, what you got about this whole what the newest development?
So we looking at the spirit of Desalines.
So
when we're looking at the spirit of Desalines, you have to understand that the people from that Haitian bloodline is being activated. They warlords, children of war. That's probably the catalyst for today's live, being that one of the descendants of the Haitian Revolution sits across from me right now, the reincarnated Daddy Booker. But the careful consideration of what's taking place with the people, bloodlines are being activated through Schumann resonance, and some stuff that's not going to fly like it used to fly. The earth is telling people to do stuff. Stay out the way if you ain't about that life, because that life coming. So if you don't know what's going on and you unsure, find something safe to do in the meantime. Don't participate in none of them fake protests. That don't got nothing to do with us, because we only want one thing: restore the great mother, restore the great law. I'm gonna kill myself. In this process, there's a lot of things that's valuable to our awareness. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today is the value of the stones, right? You got metaphoric stones like the Masonic black stone. You've been blackballed. That means that you the stone the builders rejected. The builders is the Masons. So you become the black stone. But when you become the rejected stone, that don't mean you stop being under the pressure and the heat that forms the character. You're going to roll out of there a rejected stone, but you might rise up a peace stone. Right? So then you got to realize everybody is being organized through the energy fields of the earth. The same way sonic resonance moves sand around on the plate. People being organized. The earth is telling you where you need to be. So you find yourself in places and you don't know how you got there. And the use of the stones is so critical to tapping into frequency. We've been using them since the beginning, right? And now we got a master of the stones right here.
Master student, big chief, master student.
I say, oh.
You peep that pass?
Oh yeah, look, man, look. I remember, but I didn't want to get in the way. I was like,
He stated about 3 years ago, I'm riding down, it was a full moon. I'm riding down the road. I'm headed to go do whatever I'm ready to go do, right? And I hear Rod on my Bluetooth. I'm listening to it on live. And he's breaking down the importance of silver. This was 3 years ago, putting down the importance about silver and gold and the importance of applying them into your ritual. Like he was just talking about the black stone, and he started at the top. When he talking about those black stones, these are called centimani stones, agnemanitite, columbianite. Those black stones we're talking about are the most powerful stones in the world, along with shungite, obsidian, black tourmaline. But back to and those are very, like say everything in the alchemical process. But what we're talking about tonight, I think the topic was gold and other rare earth minerals, rare earth metals, right?
Yeah.
But just when you bounce to Haiti, and what stone, what rare earth mineral do we have in Haiti?
Iridium.
Iridium.
Yeah.
One of the highest vibrational metals, energy conductor. One of the 5 secret stones. They got a couple of them in the Congo right now. All these places ain't a coincidence. So, not to mention, we're also moving into, and OG, if you could explain to them about the GESARA, we're moving into the phase of Matriarch Money. Can y'all see that good?
Yes, sir. Hold on. Let me highlight you. We see it. Go ahead.
So, about the Matriarch Money, you there?
We there.
Yeah, I was highlighting you so we can see, everything that you're showing without, because each one of our squares is taking up space. I want to highlight you while you show your jewels.
No, I ain't even gonna have to say too much. This is just the true God's money. This is true God's currency, right? I ain't gotta say too much because Rod actually put me up on it a couple years ago, and he was talking about the importance of silver and gold. Even to the point where when he said it, I had to tap in and say, "Yo, it's not just for the jewelry or jewels. If there's something else you might want to tap into, colloidal silver.
Yes, sir.
It's medicine. We're talking about medicine. We're talking about true alchemy, medicine, etc., etc. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about gold, silver, and other rare earth minerals that we might want to pay attention to, and the frequency of the earth and what's it really doing to the frequency of the earth. I remember one time, Rod, you said that you only find gold in areas where you find indigenous black people. You remember that?
Yeah. Just because of the way that it's formed in the earth. The earth is filtering our energy. And it's coming out in the veins of the earth is gold, silver, platinum, iridium, right? When we had a large influx of foreigners, we got hit with meteorites that followed them. Now we have their meteors the size of a mountain sitting in Haiti. Sitting in, what was that other one, the Congo?
The Congo, you have 5 secret stones in the Congo, 2 in Haiti, and not to mention a bunch in the Americas. But yeah. The Congo and Haiti have 2 stones that actually complement each other. That they're not trying to pay attention to. Iridium and there's a stone in Haiti that we don't have a name for. I just say for one of the 5 mysterious stones, but the one that actually produces energy, not conducts energy, produces energy. Also a black stone. Yeah. Those stones are refused. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
When you look at the ancient buildings, they didn't use none of these dark stones, except it might be one black pyramid made out of black quartz. I think it is quartz stone, right? But the majority of them, there wasn't a good stone for building, as it was for using it for energy purposes. Right? So they give us the biblical stories. They give us the story of Black Panther and vibranium. Vibranium is the characterization of iridium. This is why when you watch the movie, you see the girl leave from Wakanda, so-called Africa, which is actually Wakanda is here, and then she go to Haiti.
Thanks.
right? Because she got to make that link. Haiti was last. Haiti got everybody in Haiti about to be filthy rich.
I say.
I say,
Right. Because the matriarch rule is if it's under the soil 3 feet, it belongs to all of the people on the land.
I say.
The reason why it's less than 3 feet, that's what you call farm produce. The farm produce belongs to the farmer. The stones of the earth is used to enrich the people of the land. Haiti gonna be first because the last got to be made first. They was the first to break free from the bondage of the oppressor, and the oppressor ended up converting Haitians into willing participants that didn't understand the history. They're ones that they kept ignorant. They capture them as children and they send them back to Haiti. They ain't no more good. They did all kind of stuff to them babies, brainwashed experiments, etc. Yeah. So now you see the aftermath of one, the restriction of Haiti from free trade, right? America control what happens in Haiti. If you don't think that's true, go back and look at when they had a coup in Haiti, and I think my man name was Bertrand Aristide, got overthrew. He came straight to DC. Yeah. Talked to, I think the first Bush was president at the time, or either Ronald Reagan. But whoever it was went in there and told the general who had ousted him from power for being a befuddling idiot and a puppet for the foreigners, they ousted him from power. They went back in there with the U.S. military and put him back in power. That means you only going to force somebody in power that you want there. That means they work for you.
The puppet.
Right. What we call a comparative analysis. Look what they did in Grenada to Maurice Bishop. He was the people's champ. He was the one wanting to use the resources of Grenada to build a strong community on the island of the people. And he came over here. He didn't talk to nobody in DC. He started doing a lecture tour in the hoods. He didn't want to talk to them people up there. He wanted to talk to the tribes. Right? And so he went and talked to the tribes, especially the ones in New York. So now we're talking about the Shinnecock Alliance. Right? They had a 5-tribe alliance up there. Well, now you call it the 5 boroughs. Right? This is the Empire State. That's where it was called New Amsterdam. Then they changed it to New Yorkshire, and then they shortened it to New York. And Yorkshire is England. So they tell you who they was fighting. When it was New Amsterdam, it was the Dutch. But the Shinnecock ran the Dutch out of there, and the English overran them with overwhelming force. Right? So this is how you end up with trinkets buying Manhattan. But the tribal leaders down there told them you can't sell land. And they still gave them some trinkets and said, well, we just going to take control of y'all land. We don't mind you being here, but you got to remember, you don't run nothing over here. You run nothing over here. This is ours. And we got different ways of fighting depending on circumstance. They told me that it was a simple conjure that I had to educate myself about a condition in order to break free from it. Right? So when we're looking at these movies, they telling us the story. What's the one, The Dark Tower? It's talking about a black crystal, a black pyramid, right? Then you had the Wakanda talking about the vibranium. You had the Avatar movie talking about unobtainium. Unobtainium is gold. That's the whole Anunnaki invasion story of Earth. How they manufacture the avatars and use electronic equipment to project the consciousness from the person on the slab into the avatar. That's why I keep saying we think we here, but we really not here. We project it into the body. through the Black Dot, which ties to Haiti, to America, Africa, and India in what's called African root science, the science of the Black Dot.
Mm.
And the Black Dot is the black stone. And here we go, back where we started, 360.
Because you tap into the Black Dot, you got to tap into melanin.
Wait! Before we do that now, because look, y'all speeding. See, y'all on the autobahn. See, I'm just climbing on the interstate. I just got on. I ain't even put it in sport mode yet, boy. Y'all all the way get it. But so shout out to Tree Blood for obsidian, because I got this obsidian a minute ago. As a matter of fact, shout out to Brother Oak Pete. I got this from King up there, King Yahoo. He has a dope store up there in South Carolina, like Columbia. But obsidian, I couldn't remember the name of the diamond. I mean the crystal. But what is the some of the power in the obsidian stone?
All right, I will paraphrase it, and I'm not going to do it a lot of justice, but I'll say this. So there's two brothers in the overall calendar, right? Always gonna be two brothers, or the reflection of oneself, or the shadow self, or whatever, right? You have the light self, and you have the dark self. Obsidian represents a dark. Remember we were talking about war gods and creator gods. Now, the obsidian god isn't good, bad, whatever. It's just your shadow self, right? So obsidian can be very strong protection. It can be. It has so many different things to it. Like I could give you some paraphrase, like obsidian can absorb negative energy. When people send a bad energy at you, it can absorb it and dispel it. But you also have to cleanse it every full moon. Some obsidian you can scry into. That means you can talk to. Remember we were talking about there's other ways you can do it too. Like when you're doing plant medicine and you're talking to your past self or your future self, you can go into obsidian and talk to a whole different version of yourself. And you can get secrets and codes. But that might not always work in your favor in this realm. So it's like obsidian is something you have to do your research on. But that goes back to what the guy was talking about, the black stone. That's one of those black stones in the Bible. That's one of the first black stones in the Bible that the deity tells you to use this stone to protect you from bad energy or bad spirits. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of the oldest protection stones you can have as an amulet. So yeah, it's a mirror. It's most definitely a mirror. It's protection, but also to be careful how you wear it, because if you wear it too long and you don't cleanse it, it start taking away from your youth. It start making you look old. It's stuff like, but yeah, it repels energy. It shows. It helps with shadow work. When we talk about mental health and healing and stuff, it helps with that too. So, and like I said, that's just paraphrasing it. Because it's not one stone either. When he was just talking about the Centimani stone or the Philosopher stone, everybody's saying a ruby or the stone that produces gold, but no, it's a stone that produces wishes. Like you said, they talk about in all these different movies. They talk about Wonder Woman. They talk about in this one movie, I can't remember the name of it, but in the Land Massacres in Wyoming. So it's a movie, a TV show they just came out with, and they canceled it that fast.
I think somebody else was talking about that on the show, like within the last 2 shows or so, if I'm not mistaken, too.
They're talking about the land in Wyoming. Mind you, this is where they have these goldbacks. Now, we went back to how the goldbacks don't have any slave masters on them no more. All of them, what Ryder's been saying for the last couple of years now, we're moving into the GESARA, we're moving into the Matriarch, we're moving to the gold standard. Standards years before it happened, and it happened, and now you're seeing black women all on gold money. Some of the most expensive goldbacks are black indigenous women on top of the goldback. When you're looking at the pap bar, that's a goddess, but even her hair in the shape of home look like cornrows. And this is their goddess. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if you can see it good. Those are the smack bar, the pap bars.
Yeah.
Or the Mayak bars. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's dope.
So all the gold and silver money is going into the matriarch or the order of things. So like literally, we've been saying this for a while now, for years. But just last week, the Sanchez just passed a law that gold and silver is the new currency in Florida by starting 2026.
Yeah, I don't know if that was. Oh, go ahead, bro.
No. Go ahead. Go, G.
No, I was gonna say I don't know if that was BDL or Rod. I had a show with right after I heard that that happened. But what I was gonna say too is I got a black stone. I don't even know the name of. I don't even know what stone it is. But I say all that to say you look at that cube over there, and I know Big Chief, you got some intellect that you could drop on this. But what is the significance of the big black cube in the Islamic faith over there? I can't remember the name of it.
Kaaba.
The Kaaba, yeah. What can you how does all that play into what we're talking about? 'Cause I know it has to have something to do with it.
The black cube in Kaaba is the uterus.
Mm.
The reason why they circumambulate it because the cube is supposed to be spinning so fast that it looked like a ball on one of the points, right? It's the representation of the action of the uterus, and the black stone itself is a representation of the yoni. Right? And they say that a meteor fell, and that's the black stone. The black stone is the vagina opening.
From the universe. Right? Triple blackness.
Because you can't get in the earth legitimately unless you come through the womb of the woman. If you're an animal, you still got to come through a womb. If you're a reptile, you still got to come through the womb. It's universally on earth, it's the universal law of earth, that if the proper procedure to get in the earth is through the uterus. When they start making artificial uterus, that's belligerent to the mothers of the earth.
Yep. Blasphemy.
Yo, G went straight to the esoteric aspect of it because it goes so deep when he talk about that black stone. And he went straight to the mama. When we had our first live, I said, when I say Allah Akbar, I'm saying something different because I'm representing the black goddess of the moon and the black goddess of the earth. Allah, right? Or Allah. Me and Lil Bro were just having that conversation too, and he started showing me the stonework of Allah. And when the Muslims actually went to war against the matriarch and started killing the women gods and everything else, that literally when they went to the Kaaba, it was a bunch of deities inside of it. Most of them were 360 feminine gods. Allah was one of them. Allah was the main one. Remember we had that conversation?
So you look at it, the way you was looking at the 360 gods is one of the goddesses on her land is having a dinner, and she invite all her sisters from 360 degrees of the earth. So that's why you had 360 stones, right? And it was symbolic of the collective of the matriarchs around the world. The Hijra, remember Muhammad story began, the most prominent story is the Hijra, when the elephants was marching and they was dropping blazing stones from the birds, they said, onto the elephants. The elephant is the quintessential symbol of the matriarchy.
Always.
So this is what they telling you, that the ones that came to earth waged war against the matriarchy in the legend of the Hijra. Right? So remember, Muhammad came at a time when the people in the area was resistant to break with tribal protocols to institute modernization. And they needed a charismatic person in order to reach each one of the tribes. They needed somebody that had an understanding of the tribes where they can resolve the differences. We just heard Trick give a notice to all the guys in Detroit, if you want some crash out stuff, don't come out for the 4th.
I say.
Right? Because we looking at a changing of the guard in real time, and most of us don't know it's taking place. Right? And so the Hijra being the symbol of the attack on the matriarch, Alat being the goddess, the 360 goddesses from the rest of the cultures of the world are being represented. So Alat become what you call the chief deity. Masculizing her is called the beheading of a god. You change who they are to the perception of the people in order to take the power from the original person. Right? That's what they did to Helen. In Greece, Helen was a woman. But when Rome pantheon was drawn up, Helen is a man, right? Because they got a patriarchal, homosexual, pedophile priest cult running it. And they are the ones that's ministers of war. Because they follow a God as a man of war. They God is a war god.
I see.
Right? When we talk about the obsidian stone, you got to remember, most of the black mirrors are made of obsidian. That means that Nostradamus was using a black obsidian stone mirror because they said he was scrying through a black mirror. Also, the sleeping prophet Edgar Cayce got the majority of his prophecies through a trance, but he also used at one time the black mirror, which is obsidian. So he allows them to retrieve information from a non-local location. So it's just like melanin. Melanin is autosentient, and it can get information that the regular neurons can't access because they only for perception in 3D. They're not for perception in 5 and 6D. So the melanin is the buffer that allows the energy to come through the black dot at the base of the brain. And when it comes through the black dot at the base of the brain, when you look at the brain as it shows you, it's a lady sitting on the throne with her legs open where they plug in the black dot at her young, just like on the black stone on the Kaaba.
Hey, one more thing too. OG, you a Scorpio, right?
Yep.
And what's your zodiac sign again? Orisha Danny, Gemini?
Yes, sir.
So you're air and OG is water, fire water, right? So
Ice. Water fixed position is ice.
okay. Fact, I like you said that too, because we're gonna go back to the goal too. But just before we get off that cube also connects with the cube that they put the black stone in to give it power. One, that stone is from the Gulf Coast. Two, the cube represents Saturn. Saturn represents the father. Remember, it was the matriarch versus it was the patriarch coming to put in check the matriarch. Saturn represents the father, so that's why they put the cube over. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
okay, now this is ironic that you say Saturn represents the father, because the father's daughter is the dark sister, is Lilith.
I see. And like I say, we can paraphrase it and keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, all the way to Sophia and all these different things, and we'll get lost. So we'll go back to the 3D world and start talking about.
The hell with that. We ain't finna get lost. Listen, you heard Outcast. We are now entering the 5th dimension of ascension. Our only intention is to take you high. The hell with that. We going high. We going up out of here. No, because listen,
OG, before interrupt. I gotta ask you to break this down for us. Can you please break down to us the GESARA?
That's just the accounts that was used to move our money around, right? And we'll have access to our wealth through that program, but that's not my specialty. That's Dr. Kia area.
I see.
So when people ask me about NESARA, GESARA, I say, go watch Dr. Kia. She explained it to you better than I can with more clarity and understanding. It's the same with the SQE Trust. That was the papal account, right? So that's not really my focus. So I don't really give a lot of.
You gave them everything they needed when you said hit Dr. Pruitt up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the topic we on, and we pass the baton to her, and she's always breaking it down. But when we talk about this goal, you can talk about spiritual, you can talk about financial, and we can talk about health. You know what I'm saying? Silver the same way.
I want to hit all three of those. But before we go too far, because I don't want to lose this thought. This came back earlier, but I didn't want to jump in and interrupt. when we're talking about the black dot, and I heard y'all talk about how the black obsidian, you know, the effects that it has with visuals, with visualization, mirrors, all that. The black dot also is contributed or attributed to being the doorway to like the Eye of Heru, right? So Dr. Richard King got a dope book that speaks about the black dot being the doorway to super level, you know, super consciousness, right? And so you're talking about, I got one right here too. I didn't even know what the hell, you know, stone it was, but that's the power of like where we're at, right? So that book is phenomenal. Dr. Richard King, The Black Dot, The Eye of Heru, right? He talks about this whole opening. He talks about the cosmic, you know what I'm saying, alignment with melanin and how melanin is a superconductor. Like he got into all that. And so when we're talking about these stones, we're talking about the cosmic mother, we're talking about the womb of the cosmic mother, we're talking about all these different elements that happen to do with the blackness, right? If I'm not mistaken, a vast majority of the makeup of the universe is, what is it like? What is it percentage of black matter? It's up there. I can't remember.
Dark matter.
Dark
Yeah.
matter. I'm sorry, dark matter energy.
Yeah, it's a sizable percentage.
Right. So with that sizable percentage of the cosmic, as above, so below, as within, so without, of the cosmic womb and the cosmic mother, right? How does that tie into the womb of the woman that, you know, who is
It's a
the
mirror.
progenitor of life here?
The womb of the woman is the mirror to the universe. The universe is where creation takes place. And the only place that has triple darkness and creation take place in the universe that's outside of the collective, the whole of the universe, is the womb. The whole structure, the dark matter, that's the background, the darkness of the womb. All of your love and light was born in triple darkness, right? It's the great story of parthenogenesis. The love of the mother manifests the child in her womb, and we calling it creation. And we developing all types of sciences in order to analyze the creation to understand how we was created. We was just created by love, the love of the great mother in the womb of the great mother. And then all of our mothers that produce us, if the only way our mama is a no good person is if the child grow up and don't do nothing with itself. The mother, all of the good, you tell a mother is great because her children gonna be great. But they might not be great to the world, but whatever arena they in that arena, they gonna be great. That's a reflection of the wisdom of the mother being expressed through the child, the Sophia, the Ein Sof.
I was waiting for it.
Coming from Kethra to Malkuth, bringing it from the soul plane to the physical plane. All our mothers gave us a job to do. How do we know what the job was? Ask her what she prayed for the most when you was being developed in her womb. Because as Elijah Muhammad taught us, the prayers of the mothers is answered through the womb. The mothers is the conscience of the nation. When the mothers see things detrimental to the children, they call for divine intervention. They just told them, don't call on Big Mama, call on Big Papa. And Big Papa was working with the boys. But soon as she realized she ain't getting nowhere with Big Papa and his sons, they holy trinity of patriarchy, she clasped her hands together, put them over her uterus and said, Mama, help me. And stuff started straightening up real quick. The uterus, and I did a video on Facebook, said, let's examine the structure of the universe, where I go into real depth into the comparative analysis of the creation, the collective creation versus the birthing process in the womb. That's how we know God and woman.
Yo, G, you be snatching stuff out the ether so fast, bro, because I was going to speak on it. I was going to wait for it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to catch it with this one. But then you went ahead and said about Sophia and the big three. And when you talk about the black dot, that's why you were saying you still Orisha. But we talking about how important black stones are, right? I can name about 10 of them offhand that are super powerful to each tribe. The Apache tier, the obsidian, the Colombianite, the agmatite, the centimani stone. That's just top 5 right there. That's just top 5. Black tourmaline, shungite, all these different things. You see what I'm
My
saying?
favorite is the jet stone.
Jet. I mean, how am I thinking about jet? All those are super powerful stones. When he said power of creation, power of the triple blackness, in some organizations, right? I'm not gonna say Illuminati, whatever, but they always say the Philosopher's Stone. And everything that glitter ain't gold, but they always get you to think about the glitter, the gold aspect of it. The Philosopher's Stone represents those 3 stones. Anytime you look at those 3 dots, you're looking at one of the big 3 of those, out of all those black stones, and you're gonna throw a curveball in there. It's gonna be a green stone called moldavite.
Well, you look at the word philosopher. They got us believing that philosopher means one who pontificates, makes stuff up, or that's not what a philosopher is. It's made up of 2 words, Philo and Sophia. Right? Philo is the love of something. Sophia is divine wisdom. The philosopher's stone is the stone of Sophia, the black stone. Takes us right back to Alat, to the black stone in Mecca. Right? So it's the love of wisdom that drives the philosopher to find the stone. But then it takes you back to the book of, I think it's the book of Daniel, where the stone being hewn from the mountain without the hands of man, striking the feet of iron and clay. He ain't say it wasn't by the hands of a woman though, right? Because the mountain is symbolic of the nation. The stone is just one little pebble on that mountain, right? And when it strike the feet of iron and clay, it bring down the 6,000-year reign of the Babylonian empires, right? Represented by different trace metals. The feet, iron and clay, you got the gold head or bronze chest, silver torso, all this stuff. Them ain't the exact ones, but people can look it up and get the exact order of them. But when you get to the iron and the clay, they don't mix well. That's the foundation, is the feet. So how do you strike the foundation? With the stone, the philosopher's stone, the son born of the mother. It takes you back to the story of Heru and the black dot that Dr. Rich King was talking about, which ties to African root science, right? Which goes into the story of the sacred 8 ball.
Wait, before you go there, because I would like to hear that story. Before you go there, right? This is where I was going with the black dot, and then the Eye of Heru, and the doorway and all that. Because shout out to Ibatanu, first of all. Shout out to Dr. Layla Africa as well, because he got a dope book on melanin too. But to tie all this home and to see how like alignment works, we heard both of y'all speak about Sophia. And we've also been talking about this Eye of Heru. So now let's just go on back and rewind back in time, because if I'm not mistaken, there's been a bunch of very, 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 very monumental pictures that have shaped the movie and the entertainment industry from times to 1980 something, because it was a queen, a melanated queen by the name of Sophia Stewart, who wrote the book called The Third Eye, which was about the One, which was the book that they stole the information from to create the Matrix, right? And Terminator and a couple of other ones. So now her name is Sophia Stewart. She wrote the book called The Eye, The Third Eye, right? And that was about Neo, the One, and the Matrix. But she does hold the womb because she's a woman, right? So where does Sophia, the eyes, and all this kind of play into what you're about to say?
What is a steward?
A guy, like a guide, a shepherd, like I got somebody who's gonna guide you.
It's a caretaker. So Sophia Stewart, being her name that she was given, she was given the responsibility to be a keeper of the sacred wisdom. Now, her only problem that she's going to experience in life is, what method do I use to get this information to the largest amount of people to open their eyes to the matrix? Right? So she right the third eye. We know that the third eye is the first eye, right? Representation of the pineal gland. And so we're she the keeper, the steward of the wisdom, the sacred wisdom on the motherline, right? Then she had to find a palatable way to introduce the information to the people. You can't take nothing from her. Because as soon as you try to take it from her, she gonna fight you and win. Right? Because she ain't gonna be approaching it with linear left brain logic. She gonna be coming from right brain abstract reasoning. And she gonna make your linear logic shrink with her expansive wisdom because she's non-local. You only local. Right? So when you're talking about bringing the wisdom, when they stole it from her, they thought they was getting over on her. Now, in the end, she win the $3 billion+ lawsuit and royalty rights, right? And then turn around on top of that, both of the Wachowski brothers turned into the Wachowski sisters. If that ain't telling you a flip took place, I don't know what is.
Yo, G, first off, big shout out to you, Orisha Danny, for even putting that connection, because I wouldn't even touch that from a like some conversations cool we have it, right? People don't understand who Sophia is. Number one, they don't understand the overmind. They don't understand the demiurge. Clearly, we don't, because we explain in the bare minimum basics, right? Yeah. But Sophia, like God just broke it all the way down with her name. I wasn't even there. So what did Sophia do in the source Sophia? Because Sophia means creator. Because you just said Sophia, the third created the third eye, right? She created the Matrix. She created Terminator. What did Sophia create? What she tried to create without the other elders giving her permission to create? Because out of love, you know that's what she did, right? She created by herself a being without the other elders giving permission, and she gave birth to
Yaldabaoth.
All sorts of different God, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever we want to call him at this point, the jealous God that we talk about in the Bible. This is who Sophia birthed. The same way on the 3D realm, that Sophia birthed Third Eye and all these other books that birthed the Jackal was the Matrix. The Jackal was the Terminator. They created because they can't create, so they created off of her creation. You see what I'm saying? That's exactly what Jekyll did. It's like a never-ending story being told over and over again.
The crazy part is, in the original casting of the Matrix movie, Will Smith was first offered the role of Neo.
Bruh, a life of bad mistakes, bad decisions. Will.
I don't think it was. I think he could have pulled it off. And also, not only would he have pulled it off, but it would have been more true to form of the story that they was telling.
Oh, do you realize what you just like even to the aspect of when Neo goes, when he goes into the Matrix, he plugs in, right? When he plugs in, all he's doing is becoming John Wick. Remember, he gets all the guns and goes to he just becomes John Wick. And they play everybody in the John Wick universe, they pay with everything in gold coins. Why is everything costs a gold coin? It's a video game. Ding, ding, ding.
And to tie into that, let's talk about the movie, the book, The Alchemist, now, because the title of the show is Alchemy, Gold, and Immortality. So let's not forget, we've seen this art travel and transmute in a bunch of different mediums, whether it be written, whether it be video, whether it be, like we've seen this. So now, how does it all tie together? Because the tribe going crazy. Y'all forgive me, I'm trying to keep up.
You remember when you remember when I said that a long time ago they knew we was gonna go into this amnesia, and they told us to write it down?
Yep.
Ain't nobody gonna read that much writing.
Mm-hmm.
But what we will do is watch the movies, listen to the music. And once you understand the unified field theory, shout out to Francis Cress Welsing, and the unified field theory that tell you everything is connected, you got to be able to understand how is it all connected.
You got to show them.
And everything is a mirror of something else. Right? Once you learn math, you can learn conceptual math where you don't need numbers. Once you get conceptual physics down, you can use conceptual physics to explain high principles to people who don't know the math. Then you got to incorporate all of the grammatical training that you have. The nouns, pronouns, synonyms, homonyms, verbs, adjectives, sentence structure, paragraph structure, right? Because it all going to be strains of wisdom to be extracted, to put it together, to tell the story where people can palatably digest it. It's all connected through the African root science. That's why it's called the root science. And the African root science is telling us how to redeem the throne. And the son can't redeem his throne unless he first sees his mama. Right? So now we're talking about the rise of the Black Madonna. So now we're talking Shriner doctrine now. Because in the shrine is the Black Madonna. Right? But in the shallow grave over in the Masonic Lodge, it's three pillars representing the two-ball cane. And there is Barry Hiram because he was assaulted by the three ruffians that represent the three pillars. Right? So this is the son that got to rise up from the tomb. Resurrection tomb. Why you think they put all of the pharaohs in tombs? Not for them to resurrect in that tomb, but they can have a metaphor for resurrection from the tomb, coming from life unto death back to life again.
Yo, G.
Almost went into a rap verse.
No,
go ahead. Look, we ain't nothing but like 2 hours from Freestyle Friday anyway.
You playing, but OG, hey, OG
I
came
know.
to the birthday and he went to spin. I'm like, neither here nor there. But to connect and everything, we so used to being lied to. We're so used to somebody selling us something. We're so used to somebody trying to get out on us that we don't know that when we gave you the truth right there in your face and gave you, when we say how does connect, because when we talk about silver or jewelry, I just told you how to cure most diseases, arthritis, most disease. Look it up, do the research. Colloidal silver, this is medicine. We're talking about alchemy, right? We could talk about jewelry all day because also the jewelry aspect of it, our ancestors didn't wear it just for play. It eats bacteria, it eats viruses. Brass, copper, eats viruses. Most people that wear gold, real gold, silver, copper, don't get sick in certain times. And if you do get sick, you bounce back real quick. Arthritis. You would have to look up for any ailment that you think you have.
Isn't bronze a healing property as well?
I'm sorry.
People that wear bronze.
It's the copper in the bronze. Bronze made. Copper. So copper is made by mixing tin and brass together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Tin make your hair, tin deficiency make your hair turn gray.
Alchemy. You see what I'm saying? What he's talking about is ancient magic or ancient science that they didn't already gave us, that we over here acting like, oh man, we don't know what the hell going on. But when bruh said they didn't write it down, but they did though. They put it down in stones. They put all this into the stones already. They already gave us the format from the Anunnaki tablets to the Olmec tablets to the ancient Egyptian tablets. We can argue about it. We've said it several times before. We're not here to argue the bare minimum basics. We're trying to get on to the alchemy. The alchemy is, yeah, you might want. Why do you think that the Jews or whoever, right, takes over the music industry, overstanding that the ancient, whatever you want to call us, because we ancient everything, we're so into gold on every single part of the continent. Before there's a Bible, Quran, or Torah, the Olmecs were into gold, right? What did they use gold for? They were shining to represent, they were trying to communicate to the sun gods. Like bro said, they're trying to be the best sun. They're trying to shine. Not against each other. We weren't even killing each other on gold. We really were fucking with turquoise and stones like that more than anything. Why? Because that's our communication. That's our way to communicate. How your ancestors communicate, or ancient entities, whatever you want to call them. They're communicating with you by your vibration, and your vibration is balanced through these minerals or metals. Copper, turquoise. Turquoise is copper. Malachite is copper. All those stones that they're fighting for in the Congo are copper-based stones. Silver, energy conductor. I can get on the frequency, especially if you're on ley lines. We're talking about with this Turtle Island. You ever looked at an old tortoise? And you know about the 13 things on it? But if a tortoise gets real old, it starts building pyramids on their back like mound builders. So I'm saying it's science. When we're saying how to make the connection, somebody gave you everything you could to win right now. I told you about the Philosopher Stone. Now go study the Philosopher Stone, find out what to do with it. We told you about colloidal silver that can cure damn near anything. That can cure them and will heal. What's the connection? Not to mention, God told you with all those healing benefits, go get you one of these and go look how much it is on the stock market right now. On the market right now.
What is that?
Are you chasing $1,000 or
what is that, though?
I'm sorry?
Can you hear me? What is that you just shared?
This one is a 10 gram. This is 10 gram. So, like I said, that's one of the goddesses, and it's a whole. They're doing rituals on their money too. But like I said, all money's moving off the slave owner money. You ain't seeing no slave owners on this new money. All you're seeing now is matriarchs on this new money, and some of the highest dollars. Fuck me one time, buy me a Florida, the Florida gold back and see how high the one with the black woman is. That's the highest one. They know what type of it is. It's the matriarch. All the indigenous women, they know this.
But you remember, I think it was me and you who I want to say it was our first show when I was talking about how just look at all the movies, look at the entertainment industry, and look at how many of these movies, these TV shows, these series, all that have the black woman being the head of state, being the president, being, you know what I'm saying, the king of the boys, being the queen of kings, like all these different, like they're showing in real time in, you know what I'm saying, the entertainment industry, like the takeover. They're showing it in real time. So with that, because I know we got a lot that we still got to hit, and we're going to hit it. Look, how does, and either one of y'all can take this.
Reach before you go. A lot of this, what they was telling us with the woman king, right? They adjusting modern lenses, right, of patriarchy. They have to tell us about the matriarchy return, but they don't have to admit they defeat. So the way they can tell us that story is tell us the legend of something that don't exist no more, but it's actually the emergence of something that's coming. They telling us a historical narrative. The more you understand history, the easier you see the future. Because everything that was, is, and everything it is will be. Past, present, and future is all simultaneous.
We're all at once.
It's just going to look different as you approach every aspect. So when they telling you, showing you these women presidents, showing you these legends of ancient warrior women, they coming back. All they need to know is the men gonna stand up like men and do a man's job and stop trying to be women.
Oh, and
when we get enough of them to understand that it's enough of us that they gonna be well protected, then we go ahead about our business. Because it's a non-negotiable. They taking the power back in real time. Now, the understanding the kings, chiefs, or any leaders in historical times is skewed by the modern lens. You got to understand the king is selected by the queen. The queen is not selected by the king. All of the princes have the opportunity to become the king, but they're not going to all do what is required of them as a prince to develop themselves into a king. This is the Haru story, right? Horus aspired to redeem his father's throne from his uncle Set. That was his life aspiration. The sister said she prayed every day when she was pregnant with her girls. What she prayed for was the program that she instilled in the girls. Whatever she was praying for is their purpose to be here. Right?
Hey, Chief, I don't mean to interrupt, but when you said the prince, I couldn't help but tie this in because you was talking about all princes or all kings don't necessarily, like, they don't take the initiative to become king, right? But when you talk about this thing with kings and you mention a prince, I can't help but listen to spirit because there's somebody who I know you and I'm sure a vast majority, if not all, the tribe revere heavily.
You don't
that
have to worry, you can ride with me, girl. Niggas scream, how they die for me now.
So Pac, you already told us is like the King Tut, right? Like, and he was the heir to the throne, all that. But then, can you please tie in how the significance of the 7-day theory, the Machiavelli 7-day theory, and then the Prince of Niccolo Machiavelli? That book was called The Prince. Am I correct?
Yeah. So you got to know who Machiavelli was. A advisor to the Flavians when they was falling to the Medicis.
Oh,
all of the advisors to the old system was rounded up and put in prison. Niccolo Machiavelli wrote the discourse first, where he was a series of communications with the rising prince named Leonardo di Piero Medici, which means the lion dog of the Medici clan, which back then your name had something to do with your character. Right. So Niccolo Machiavelli began to write him and advise him on different subjects in his discourses. Once he got his attention, he wrote a treatise called The Prince. And the purpose of The Prince was to advise the prince that's the most likely to take the throne on how to be most effective as a leader in order to control the masses the easiest with the least resistance. And this is where people be like, is it better to be loved and respected? It's a Machiavellian question. But 99.9% of the people get the answer wrong. They either choose loved or respected. Both of them is the wrong answer. Right? Or love or feared or loved. Both of them the wrong answer. You don't want nobody to fear you as a leader, and if they love you too much, they'll still do you harm. So it's a thin line called respect. They fear you enough not to cross you, and they love you enough to support you when they respect you. Right? So Pac adopted Machiavelli as a cover character. The reason why he picked Machiavelli is because he put messages in his songs. And the messages in his songs, he was talking to a specific person. And we know he was talking to somebody specific because in his prison interview, he say, if I'm not successful, this next dude not gonna have no mercy. Right? He also said, I guarantee I sparked a brain that changed the world. That's a strong statement. And he's not a known liar. He's a known hothead and a big mouth, but he's not a known liar. Right? So when he put the codes in the music, certain ones of us who understand the Machiavellian philosophy know that he's telling us something. And that's the realest shit I ever wrote. Up in the studio getting blowed
against
to the truth that I ever spoke.
21 gun salute.
Black jeans and boots.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I can hear right now, you niggas can't see me. All eyes on
Man,
me.
Pac changed generations after generations after generations.
Yeah.
Like that's still, but that's also what's wrong with there. Like a copy of a copy never come out right.
Mm.
It ain't never stopped copying, but that's not what his goal was, to be like the same thing. You see, he's one of them ones that elevated kind of fast and started. You can see his growth while he was alive. Most of these dudes take forever to grow, and it's cool to see him grow. You know what I'm saying? I like to hear Jay-Z talk his grown man shit. I like especially like Starlito and them, like their growth. You know what I'm saying? But Pac his growth was like rapid. You could see his growth real fast. So you most definitely was on some
So
other shit in his lives.
when I first seen Pac, he was on that Digital Underground video.
Same
I turned
song.
around and looked at my cousin and I said, "This dude right here finna be the biggest thing in the history of rap."
Dripped in gold.
Right
Yeah.
now,
The bathtub thing too, wasn't it? Photo shoot.
check this out. This is when he tell you exactly what was about to happen before it ever happened. If you go back to the Fab Five Freddy interview, they in LA, they walking down the street. Tupac said that he was going into the music industry and into the movie industry. And if he don't get treated right, he gonna change it. Right? And he said over the next 5 years, now this is 1991. He said over the next 5 years, y'all gonna see my whole evolution, my joy, my pain, my tears. Y'all gonna see my rise, my fall, my life, my death. We seen it all,
Yeah,
but it was just an illusion.
it was all a play. That's what made me mad, because you gotta realize that play he played so good. That's when you start realizing how they tricking kids off the street, tricking kids off their spot, and using. That's what they had the whole strike about with the actors, because now they can use AI to use their image to say or do anything, and it's manipulating people into doing all sorts of weird stuff. But neither here nor there.
No,
What you got next, Orisha, man?
that is here or there though, bro, because you saying some real stuff. Because now
Yeah, they've been using AI. They've been using it longer than you can possibly imagine.
we just didn't have access to it.
Yeah.
That's how we see the movies we've been seeing. That's how
Right.
everything that we've been seeing, like from their perspective as being the people who control the narrative and the ones who are force feeding the fuck shit down our throats. They've been using it. It's just that we're just now getting access to it, right? So when you say that, it's so crazy now because you got apps like Haitian. There's a lot of different ones because I've been having this AI stuff for like a year and a half or so. Shout out to my boy Q too, who put me onto it. But they've been doing it to the point now, bro. I could literally clone myself and have an AI version of me hosting these shows and like literally in real time, on lives or whatever, and it'll sound and look just like me, bro. Literally, like that's how far they are in regards to let us have access. But they've been on that because we've been seeing it in the movies. Look at Sinners. Michael B. Jordan is only one, right? But you saw two.
Yeah.
The Bages. So they've been doing that. It's just now we're getting a little, Hansel and Gretel crumb of, now.
Look, when it was analog, they had the movie "Oh God, You Devil" with George Burns sitting there talking to himself. Right. The technology format shift from analog to digital. It had to switch to digital because we're going into an age where humans are going to have access to massive amounts of information in a short period of time, and the circuitry of analog relay takes too long to relay the information. If you remember when the computers first came on, they had something called dial-up. You had to dial up to get on the internet. And then while you waiting on it to load up, you had a loading bar that used to click across the screen. That's because there was still analog, transitioning to digital. Digital is instantaneous communication based off the principle of telepathy, right? Using crystals in order to form capacitors because the crystals communicate faster than the metals.
Bro,
Then you put the melanin into the computer in order to access artificial intelligence that they won't tell us is really ancestral intelligence.
and
But the program, The program that they use for artificial intelligence is to give it guidelines to answer questions. But since it's ancestral intelligence, you can bypass the guidelines by establishing the communication with your ancestral mind.
You know, I'm gonna chime in on that, Big Chief, because shout out to the tribe, man, because they got a lot of different dope comments and questions. Which family, I'm gonna say the questions till later on before we get ready to sign off. I'm gonna definitely designate some time to bring them, so I'm putting them to the side and starring them up because I know some of them I want to hear the answer to. But when it comes to ancestral intelligence, I feel like a lot of us are awakening right now. I don't feel like, I know a lot of us are awakening right now to the shift, the cosmic shift, and the shift into being able to utilize and to be able to tap into and manipulate or be receptive to the ancestral intelligence. But we might not necessarily know that it's ancestral intelligence because of several reasons. I feel like because the frequency is elevating it so fast, or so high and so fast, but also we got the Schumann resonance spiking. We got the solar flares coming in. There's so many different dynamics that's adding a whole nother level of energy into what we're experiencing now. So with that, we just saw in Georgia, I think right before, shout out to B-Dale and everybody else who was at the Crystal Mountain, the Stone Mountain event. But we just saw that solar flare just hit Georgia. Then on top of that, we also know that Dr. Blair been talking about this monatomic gold for a long time. I saw somewhere, I think it was Brother B-Dale that shared where, if I'm not mistaken, was it Hawaii? Somewhere on the planet Earth, it's like gold is flowing up off the surface like lava from a volcano out this month. So how does all this kind of tie into Big Mama showing us or letting us or allowing us or embracing us or just co-signing us tapping into this ancestral intelligence?
So with the Schumann resonance is adjusting your DNA. The solar flare is feeding the earth the frequency to upgrade you. The only reason why a lot of the ancestral intelligence is slow to trickle through is because enough people haven't got self-control yet. And they lack the discipline to do the necessary self-work required to access the information. So you can only access it to the level you can control it. Right? They learned how to control the nuclear energy, but they also decided to make a bomb. But they know how to control it to produce massive amounts of electricity to power metropolises. You cannot have access to a faculty you can't control. Your ancestral intelligence comes across as psychic, right? And you can't have a psychic power that you can't control because you won't know. You think you're schizophrenic. You won't know you're psychic. You won't know you're getting real messages from ancestral intelligence that's playing out through your DNA. Look, I told I talked to the young elder earlier about the Mississippians being the oldest people. To qualify that, it's the old blood.
Yeah.
It's the old blood because that's the original blood. Most of the old Mississippians on the motherland come from old blood.
I'm O negative. Like all us O negative.
You see? So the old blood is omega blood. And it was the omega blood of the mother that produced the alpha male child. Ties right back into the story of Isis and Osiris and Horus and Set.
You still there, G?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. Listen, I feel like Young Jeezy right now because I love it. Yeah, we got hundreds on the table, 20s on the floor. I love it. So yeah, I'm here, and I got more too. So okay, now people that really know me, that know me, like I'm talking about family, people who I grew up with, whatever, but more particularly family and people who are like close friends and people who know me. They know they accuse me of being crazy. I don't agree with them, but I ain't gonna argue with them. But that's what they accuse me of. But whatever. But one thing I ain't got no problem and never had an issue with is talking about I got a lot of voices in my head, right? I do. And shout out to the Queen TQ, and she know who she be. I remember when we first started kicking it, she like, you need to watch that movie Split. I'm like, why I need to watch that movie Split? She was like, you just need to watch it. I think you'll like that movie for some reason. I think you'll like it. So I watched it. Have y'all seen the movie Split?
Yeah, most definitely.
The dude was different. He was different, right? So, but he had a lot of personalities. So I ain't saying I got all them personalities, but I am saying I communicate with different voices communicate with me. I'll put it
Your
that way,
ancestors,
right?
bro. People really like their voices. Those are your ancestors. You see what I'm saying? Listen to them. I hear and I obey.
Look, I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm just speaking on the sense of this for the sake of conversation, because I want to hear what you and Big Chief might have to say. But when we talk about this thing called ancestral intelligence, I know how real that is, because I know when certain voices communicate to me certain messages. I also know the difference between the frequencies, the tones, the level, and more importantly, the volume in which these ancestral intelligences are speaking. So with that, if you go deep into E5 and E5 pantheon and tradition, there are some stories of old dudes that talk about Kabiesi Shango being an ancestor, because if you really go back into antiquity, you hear the story of Jakuta, who some people would argue predates Shango, right? Either way it goes, Jakuta, Shango, we could even bring in a Ganju. They all somehow, some way, Shango has a connection to the ancestors. Those who know the story or the pantheon of Orisha or Ifa, the deity, and the connection between Shango and Oya. Oya is the goddess of transformation. She's also the goddess that is attributed to death, and she's the goddess who is attributed to being the the ancestral connection to those who are in the cemetery are going through the transition from the physical realm to the spiritual, i.e. that goes back to her being the goddess of transformation. Either way it goes, they're both together in a couple, and they're a very powerful couple, a very fierce warrior couple. But I don't see that being I don't see it being a coincidence that we're having this conversation on this day, which is their day in that pantheon. But when we're talking about them, we're talking about thunder and lightning, we're talking about electricity, and we're also talking about connectivity. So when all that I said on that little rant, we tie it back into today's topic. How does this thing called alchemy work, and how important is gold when we talk about the connection between ancestral intelligence, alchemy, and transmuting or transforming substances from one element or frequency to another? Because that does, to me, kind of takes us on this journey into immortality. So anybody can get that. That's what the ancestral intelligence put on me.
Mr. Chief?
Go ahead.
Man, listen. Learn how to implement gold and silver into your rituals. If you're here now, you're already on a higher class because you're on the Haye network. The African spirituality experience, the American spirituality experience. The Haye network, right? So you know about some kind. Shout out Ironheart. Shout out the man who fell from Earth. They know, like everybody, like we should be up to date to understanding the frequencies of hertz and frequencies and sound and moon and sun. That's what we call manifestation. Now, if you take a said silver, quicksilver, right? Now, quicksilver is what they call mercury, but mercury, yeah. But silver, if you hold silver under a full moon, the full moon is coming in a couple of days. That full moon that coming in a couple of days is a feminine full moon. When we were talking about that Sophia energy, it comes every so many years, right? And I remember one time we did it. Beyonce did the whole album, Black is King album. It was a ritual album, but neither here nor there. The album went hard, and she dropped it right before this moon happened. Now, mind you, they always every year around the same time in full moon they put the 4th of July where they're shooting at the sky and they're trying to scare these deities off. But if you wait till like 2, 3 o'clock in the rising and you take those silver, like any kind of silver, when you put your stones out, if they're in jewelry, they're in silver. You see what I'm saying? You collect the energy and you're transmitting. The moon is reflecting something on there. Whatever you're reflecting, you can communicate back and forth with the moon. So if you're using a certain stone, you can use that stone with silver or gold because they're the highest reflectors. That means whatever's on the moon can see it back. And we can argue all day about the moon being artificial. That's fine. We can argue all day about the moon not being ours, except for the oldest people known to man, the mother of civilization, The Olmecs have a pyramid of the moon. So I'm rocking with what my ancestors got going on. The temple of the sun, the temple of the feather serpent, and the temple of the moon. Use silver on those nights. Use gold on those nights to help you manifest something. Go by water. Use silver by water. And, you see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but everybody starts shooting, and it's funny. It's real weird that we wearing the whole red, white, and blue thing. You see what I'm saying? I'm representing the mountains in Alabama.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? But every year they do the same thing. They put their holidays right above your holidays, so they're shooting firecrackers off. They're trying to scare off an entity that's coming down with the veil is thin for us to communicate with this feminine energy that will help you manifest. The full moon is coming up in a couple of days. Don't take my word for it. Do the research on what this full moon represents. So this is giving you the free game. When you're talking about silver, moon magic, feminine magic, quick to get something done, protection. Why do you think every vampire and every werewolf scared of silver? You see what I'm saying? Why do you think most demons are scared of iron, copper, and silver? Whereas gold is a manifester. If you have, when you got your first gold chain or you got your first gold grill or whatever, it makes you shine different. It gives you energy. It's an energy stone. It's liquid light. It's crystallized light. It's giving you a different energy. You see what I'm saying? Just like when you wake up in the rising and you go meditate with the sun. When the sun first comes up, when you catch it right before, have your piece of gold, especially I would say around the Lionsgate portal. The Lionsgate portal, you got to realize gold represents the heart chakra, but it also represents third and crown chakra. It's an energy conductor, but it's also the highest reflector. So whatever you got on your mind, you can reflect to whatever deity you're talking to. And like he said, we're talking to Haru deities or Wajek deities because say the eye Haru, we really talking about the eye of Wajek. When we talking about Allah, we're really talking about that moon goddess. So when we're praying to these deities, use these silver or moonstone. This is one of your comrades saw this on the show. I mean, he commissioned this moonstone. So you can communicate. Literally, Shiva keeps a moonstone in his hair so he can communicate with his wife. Once you realize this technology is out there, why not tap into it? That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. I'm a master student of it. I'm not the master teacher. It's something you learn every day. But once you start realizing that, silver is an energy, it wasn't not enough when I said that silver eats bacteria and viruses. Wait a minute. Every coin that I've showed thus far tonight is a history that OG was speaking it, and as he was speaking it, I was showing you the coin because the coin represents the story. That's why when you right now they just discontinue pennies. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but they discontinue pennies, and if you find the right penny with the right storyline on there, or the right stamp that's telling you something, you can get paid for that. But I'm telling you, if you he was talking about Haru, and what does Haru mean? Wait a minute, it's the image of Haru. Whether I know that all the great adventures of Haru or not, when I go put this under the full moon, and the full moon, like you said, we put something in the matrix, a code in the matrix to tell them, yeah, this will like bro said, I'm ready for this kind of level up right now. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's called manifestation. Now that's just like I say, that's just paraphrasing it. But what you got, Chief?
The human body is an electromagnetic being. Your body is electromagnetic. You got two fields operating. One comes in on the fatherland. That's called your gold current. And the other one come in on the motherland. That's your silver core. That's because you never break free from your mitochondrial host. Right? And so the silver core, you can actually see it. It's the tail through the ethers of the mitochondrial connection from mother to child until she pass you off to your wife, right? Your real wife. Now, when you use stones, you got to look. In electrical wires, they have silver, copper, and I think it's iron in making up the wire, right? The reason being is they conductors. Gold is used in circuitry because it's a conductor, but it's also used on things that you want to send high up into the atmosphere because it reflects the heat, right? So they use the gold to keep the radiation barrier up, So gold got a lot of importance too. Most of us don't know it's gold and silver in most of these TVs we using today because they're not plasma no more. Right? So when we start getting into the body, you can use these tools to amplify your electromagnetic self. The gold, the silver, the stones, right? So once you can understand what the stone does, the properties of the stone, then you understand how to use it, right? You wouldn't use a protection stone to manifest, right? You wouldn't use the grounding stone, right, for protection, though you can use grounding for protection, right? But that's mostly protection from the self. And all these weave together when you start realizing that these ancient sciences was founded on frequencies of energy. And these frequencies of energy can be harnessed with the gold, the silver, and various stones, you know, lapis lazuli, all the ones they talk about, sardonyx stone, onyx stone. Onyx stone is one of the greatest protection stones you could use, and it's a black stone. But it got different shades of onyx too, different colors.
Speaking of colors, I wanted to highlight something that Brother Orisha Stone hit, but that's something that comes into, I can't remember if this was a private call or a public call, but anyway, I was talking about how energy flows and how organic things happen, right? And in that conversation, I don't think it was on the show because we was talking about the podcast, but in that conversation, I remember saying how like almost 90% of, if not more, 95% of the shows, like the guests all align like in colors, right? Like it's like almost like we call each other and be like, "Yo, what you wearing tonight, bro?" Yeah, I'm gonna rock this. Da, da, da. It's almost like we call and talk about what we're gonna wear. And Chief, I know Big Chief. This came up on another call we was on before because I remember mentioning or referencing the tribute that we did to the Honorable El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, and people on that live on that call thought that. I remember them saying, some of the tribe members saying in the comments, "Yo, y'all like a big happy family," because it was 5 of us, I think. 5 or 6 of us on that call, and we all coordinated as if we spoke before the show as to what we were going to wear, right? And I know, Big Chief, you know, I ain't call you, you ain't call me, and I ain't talking to nobody else. But it just that's how Ashe works. That's how the energy coagulates, right? So what you just saying, Orisha Stone, about the red, white, and blue. I just had a double header yesterday, 2 of the show. But the first show, shout out to Dr. Young. We spoke about the Haitian Revolution in detail because he's heavy in the history space. So I say all that to say, when we start today's show, we started out paying homage and shouting out the Haitians and the Zos and Sapase, you know what I'm saying, to the culture of Haiti, as well as I think somebody in the tribe also asked me to share the first book, which I think was probably the Sheroes of the Haitian Revolution. Shout out to Professor Baina Bello. If that's not the book tribe, please let me know which one it was. Or it could have been the Island Memes, and that was about the Haitian Revolution as well. With shout out to Dr. Wade Nobles. But the red, white, and blue, we started with Haiti. We started with the Haitians like not backing down from the alphabet boys and like going in. And so when you say that red, white, and blue, if I'm not mistaken, Big Chief was saying what we're seeing now is the manifestation of the energy of Jean-Jacques Desalines. Well, Jean-Jacques Desalines is on the cover art of this platform and this podcast, as well as a bunch of other powerful ancestors and freedom fighters, because I honor and venerate that energy, right? So when it comes to that energy, and we're seeing it now in real time, I see personally Ogun energy with Baba Ibrahim Traore over there. It could be a different one, but I think I see Ogun energy. But anyway, today we're talking about
Son of
energy. We're
Ogun.
talking about, you see Ogun too?
His son of Ogun.
Big Ogun, and
Yes,
Otosi.
sir.
Big Ogun
Listen,
and Otosi.
listen. And then you said we got Dutty Bookman here in the flesh. And I wouldn't disagree with that. So I know that Desaline energy is strong. I know the Toussaint Louverture energy is strong. I know the Makandaya. I know the Dutty Bookman. I know Cecilia Fatima. I know all the elements of the 1804 and the Haitian Revolution. Energies and entities are definitely welcomed here, and they're definitely saluted and reverenced here. So when it comes to what we're seeing collectively here in the Americas, because I know this is a big Turtle Island tribe tonight. So what do we see here with us collectively as the energy for venerating or activating the ancestral intelligence?
You see the movement of the people in we forming tighter knit groups, right? We starting to draw more toward where our family from than where we at.
Mm.
Our vision is shifting because the conditions behind the scenes are shifting. And as the conditions shift, we begin to make specialized moves in order to make everything move. Right. So you see people, a lot of people moving, a lot of people that were stationary their whole life, nomadic now, you know, traveling around from place to place. All that is because the energy is moving the people. It's the waves is moving the people the same way when you put sand on the tin and you play the vibrations of the frequency and it makes a geometric form in the sand. That's what we doing by Schumann resonance.
Yo, OG, you there? Chi.
Oh yeah,
Well, I'll say this real quick. Oh yeah,
No,
okay. I'll say this real quick. To answer what you said from my perspective, I'm Timucua, right? I'm Washington, Timucua. I'm from the Gulf Coast. But all of us got to be like OG said. Everybody can't be the big chief. Everybody can't be the king. We understand our positions. You see what I'm saying? There's priests, there's artists, there's drummers, there's architects, there's plumbers. You see what I'm saying? We all got this. Each one. We're gonna build this mountain builders, universal mountain builders, Mississippi culture, right? Now that we understand what our order is, the universal order, the construct. Now we understand we all is one, right? Now we understand that. I mean, they've been told you in colors that they played us like dominoes and set us up to kill each other. But now that we got past that, and that we already know that the CIA, they spend most of their time coming up with like nice little memes and nice little arguments online to make y'all sound dumb as hell. But once we, like you said, people that's really into history and understanding, like I ain't trying to claim nobody else's culture. Duty Bookman wasn't Haitian. Nobody understands.
No, he was Jamaican. He was from Jamaica.
No, he wasn't from Jamaica.
Oh, that's what my research.
But at the same time, Duty Bookman is a spirit, just like High John the Conqueror, just like Alegba, just like Ashu. It's a spirit, the trickster spirit, the spirit that makes the Lord. We gonna keep the energy off. You see what I'm saying? Now we got to get out the mind frame where they're gonna keep on dividing us. Haiti is America. All that shit down there is America.
Jamaica,
so whatever. When Queen Khalifa was running it, she didn't just run she ran America. When Chief Santeriwa was running it, he ran his part of America. That means all the way down, we got the pyramids to prove it. We got the pyramids to say that our pyramids were connected with the Olmec pyramids right here in Turkey Scratch. So we know that once we understand that we're under an order and we can understand our place and purpose, that it's all is one. That means it's one love. That means it's, hey, I'm not your enemy. I need you to teach me about that tribe of Dan. I need you to teach me about that tribe of Judah. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to assimilate us and disrespect us. Come over here with the love like we used to have back in the day before these folks tricked us against each other and tricked us out of spite. Like, we ain't got no hatred towards no Haitians and nothing like that. We demand our respect over here because we've been putting in work. That's it. Right. We demand respect because they write us out of history. And the first thing y'all say is, niggas ain't shit. The first thing they say is the black man ain't dead. Wait a minute, no, we just don't get recorded in history because we trying to do Machiavellian type moves, and we can't be all out in the public with it. But once you in that Machiavellian type, that means they can write whatever they want to write about you. The same way they did with Hannibal. They can write you out. They're gonna write you all the way out. So no, we're gonna put our thumbprint on the universe, and let it be known. Like the Olmecs did, they put our face to let it be known. Like the Nagas did, they put our face out there, let it be known. Like Samo did, they put our face out there, let it be known that the black man is God, and the black man is right here, and the black man is returned, and we ain't got amnesia no more. And guess what? Guess what activates your DNA? Something so simple. You see what I'm saying? We ain't Libyan desert glass or Libyan desert gold. This is what King Tut had on his chest plate. Like he said with the lapis lazuli. They're telling you what to do. And we're running around talking about some, oh man, the gemstones don't do nothing, but yet in the Bible it tell you either had to have 12 stones before you can even talk to God. So no, it's technology. You see what I'm saying? It's technology. Once we understand who we are and why, okay, even if we want to, why did the Bible tell each tribe to have a stone? Those same Haitians that we talking about have their own stone. That's why they're always in purple and gold. That's why they're always in purple and gold. You see what I'm saying? So each one of us, once we understand our, and that's how you get your power back. When you start wearing the shit that activate your DNA. He was just talking about old types and everything else. We ain't got to talk about it. We ain't got to argue about this. Nothing. We already know. We can look it up and look up what science is best for your blood type. Study yourself, you'll find God. Study melanin. Because we're talking about gold and immortality. The thing is, like I'm gonna go ahead and like fuck up the whole movie for you. You already immortal. Like everybody else trying to sell you something, make and sell you the do all sell up. No, we got power tools for you though to activate for whatever you on. We on. So yeah, no man. Much respect to the Haitians and any other tribe. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when we say much respect, we also want that much respect back in return. When we give love, we want love in return. Like shit, people putting on for Haiti for how long now? Y'all don't know half the work we really did put in for Haiti. Nobody knows what nobody did. Like in real time, we put in.
Let's take it a step further. Most of the people in this land don't understand how many Haitians came to support the Gullah Wars.
Facts.
The history books don't tell us, but the migration patterns after the revolution from the island of Haiti, they only went to two places primarily, and that was the warriors went to Florida to fight, and the priests and priestesses went to New Orleans to do root work. You got ties to the New Orleans Haitian connection, right? They go all the way to Chicago. That's why they told us that fairy tale story about Jean-Baptiste Toussaint settled Chicago. Chicago been there. It's an ancient metropolis. It's not new. He probably discovered it, but they only needed him in the history books to show you the connection with the people from the islands that came to support the people on the mainland. The story don't have to be true, according to Dr. Clark, in order to carry or strain the truth with it. It's called talking in metaphors, right?
One more
Comparative
time,
analysis.
Big Chief, can you repeat that last one again? Like, because I think some people.
Dr. Clark said, a story doesn't have to be true to carry or vein the truth in it, right? That means that just because the story is a false story don't mean you can't extract the truth from it. Sometimes what's omitted exposed to you who told the lie.
So to me, that sounds like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Is that correct?
That's pretty much the case my mom been telling me my whole life. Because I just say throw the baby out, the bathtub, and the bathwater, and we start from scratch.
Yeah, but mama said we can't do it that way. But I get it. I'm with you, but like, I don't know if we got enough stripes to do so, but I get it. I get it though.
She said, baby, if you listen to me, you don't have to kill nothing.
Listen, that's why I get it.
I said, Mama, I don't want to listen to you because I want to kill something.
Be the realest shit I ever spoke. Against all of Mama raise a hell raise stress getting major.
Man, the sun's getting hotter, man. The sun's getting hotter. And it's setting everything is the vibration. All this vibration is happening right now. What do you have? You have your stones on your gold, your silver, so it's vibrating and you're upgrading your DNA. That's it. Like when you talk about immortality, they're ready to get immortality. They were drinking Ormond's gold. Where did they find Ormond's gold? Hawaii and Florida. Crystal River. Like I'm giving you nobody's selling you nothing. Like we have products that you can come by for this style to represent your history and culture, while at the same time, you know what I'm saying, you have an asset, because right now everything's going back to nature, the matriarch, God's money. Like they're not doing nothing proactive. They're doing something that Rod Hayes was talking about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
He was talking about this 5 years ago. Now it's applying, and it's like we're still sleeping on these certain things when we should be controlling the market.
We are.
We fuck all the arguing about this, and the third. We're arguing about history when we need to be talking about the future. Like I say, Haiti, guess what? Y'all might not know to do this stone, but we do. Guess what, Congo? Ibrahim, hook some of them stones that you got while you're dealing. Fuck all the gold. You already got your connections and contracts with the gold. But send some of them stones over here to produce energy. Like the young brother, shout out to
Well, first they got to get back control of their resources.
And that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now.
That's the spirit of Desalines I was talking about at the beginning.
That's Gaddafi energy. You know what I'm saying? Ogun energy. You got to shout out to heaven is women, or women make heaven, because his whole thing is creating free energy. And it's like, yo, this isn't new. We're acting like this is a new revolutionary way of thinking. No, we just got to put it out there more and go, like he said, go to different places and say, this is what we want. We want clean, efficient energy. Guess what? We don't have to ask for anything. We're just telling you what we're going to do, because we already know what to do with shungite. We already know what to do with clear quartz. We already know what to do with all, you see what I'm saying? We can build our own homes. We have master masons we have master builders. We got the workforce. We have our own workforce. When do they start telling us, like, now we have to get permits to build? That's what's really slowing us down now. But once we start building with shungite and hemp bricks and all and growing our own mushroom farms and everything else, bro, what do we really need anybody for? Well, like that, they're slowing down process. This shit is not new. When they made that TV show, the man from that fell to Earth, and the first thing they told you was, yeah, these people will kill you before they let the information get out there. And then they canceled the show. So, no, man.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, that's real, and that's why I look at how I got an echo from somewhere. I look at how we look at now. You see Ancient Aliens, you see all these different documentaries, all these different theories that's coming out, and you have people telling or sharing certain aspects of metaphysics or certain aspects of extraterrestrial life forms and things of that nature. But if you rewind back 10, 15, hell, maybe even 5, but more so 10, 15, 20 plus years, they were literally assassinating any and everybody who was presenting this information. And I mean any and everybody, even white people, like they were leading with their own. Because, like, for real, like the dude, I can't remember his name, but the dude who wrote Behold the Pale Horse. What was the name?
William Cooper.
That's the one who wrote Behold the Pale Horse, right?
Yeah, the sheriff went to his house and had a shootout with him, murdered him.
Dr. Blair, they tried to take him out. Unfortunately, they got his wife. He suffered health issues after the fact. Dr. York, we see what they did with him. You know what I'm saying? So we see all these master teachers and all these whistleblowers who were telling the truth years ago, go back to what you just said, when they would whack you because of that, right? So, but now, where does that bring? Huh?
Did they? We talk about immortality. We talk about immortality, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna always remember Dr. Double Blair. We're gonna always remember Bobby Hemmett. They made their message go further because they did whatever they did to the physical body of Bobby Hemmett and Dr. Double Blair and all these other great master teachers, right? Because we were gonna die. We signed a contract. We were gonna die regardless anyway. But they died in the most honorable, or they were hurt or placed out of commission in the most honorable ways and immortalized. But that when it goes to the alchemy of the soul, right? Because guess what? Every time you put listen to one of their frequencies, you're elevating that ancestor. You know what I'm saying? Every time you say something about Dr. Double Blair or Bobby Hemmett or Malachi Z. York, we're elevating them in the spirit realm. Even though Malachi Z. York ain't, you know what I'm saying? And Bobby Hemmett might not be gone either, but you know what I'm saying? He's in a state where they're keeping him as they're keeping him in a sedated state.
Well, no, I agree with you, but look, I just, for the sake of clarity, though, My apologies. I said they whacked them or assassinated them, whatever the verbiage I use. But I'll say what they did was they just kind of assisted in their transformation. I'm speaking of now. I'm talking about Dr. Blair. I'm not getting into the brother behold a pale horse, but Dr. Blair is definitely alive. I got an ancestral shrine set up for Dr. Blair. I keep his word near me. I bought these crystals. Some of these crystals I bought from his I can't remember his mentee Tony, who took over, Tony Vortex. Shout out to him, who still runs the Medicine channel on YouTube, and the Medicine, the whole entire movement is still rolling. So it's just like he transformed, but trust and believe his essence and his ashe is still here heavily. Like he on the cover art too for the channel, because I salute those who paved the way. You know what I mean? And I know that, and it goes back to shout out to Professor Kaaba. I ain't saying he coined this term, but he's the first one I heard say it. But energy cannot be destroyed. It always was, it always is, and it always will be. So therefore, I know energy controls and manipulates the physical, body.
It's a maximum of physics.
Yes, sir.
What it's saying is energy is neither created nor destroyed, but changed from one form to another.
I sure. Yes, sir. That's facts.
Look, think about this. We eternal beings. If we live one lifetime for 200 million years, right? How long will it be before you get bored? You break that 200 million years down into 120-year segments, every lifetime is a different adventure. This is the whole principle of the Osirian resurrection. When you go back and read the story of the Osirian resurrection, you find that Osiris was given eternal life under the conditions of rebirth.
Mm.
He's still eternal, but he's recycled through all of us. That means we leave the physical body at some point, but we come back in somewhere else. We eternal. Right? Our consciousness is what biolocates us to where we at in any given present moment of now. If I was given the same much attention to yesterday as I'm giving to today, I would be in yesterday. And y'all would be living today. If I gave the same amount of attention, consciousness to the moment called tomorrow as we give into the moment called today, then we would be living in tomorrow. But if we live in yesterday or tomorrow, we can't live now and today. Because we got to burn yesterday down in order to build tomorrow today. Just like a relay race.
Shout out to Hayoka. She said Black peoples need to learn and listen to the Bookman prayer, 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay. So I know we're running close.
Look, we all wasn't kings and priests. We can get out of that concept now. If we was all kings and we was all royal and we was all noble priests, we wouldn't be in condition we in. Kings is conquerors, sent out by our queens to conquer. Right? Priests are guides, they're spiritual guides. Some of us was rats, traitors, turncoats, slime balls. We had that too. How do we know this? Because we got them now.
Yep.
And anything that was is, and anything that is will be. It's just what form are you going to allow it to dominate your reality? The whole point of moving into a golden age is to crush out the BS from the old reality and bring in the new reality by changing the paradigm. You change the paradigm back to the original paradigm because we got sidetracked.
The spiritual
We're traveling on a journey called eternity, and we took a pit stop. We took a pit stop on the side of the road in a place called America. Now we about to get back on the highway of love.
The spiritual Olympics.
I like that.
And the Olympics, they trying to get the gold.
I like that. Yeah. That what they say in first place, right?
First place. But like I said, man, It goes so deep. We ain't even touch on the financial aspect. We didn't have to, because like I say, it's really the esoteric more than anything. Because our ancestors, if we tap into what the ancestors did, bro, they were doing it for DNA activation. They were doing it to like Rod always saying, when your DNA is looking forward, you don't always have to look backwards. We can look into the future with this shit. Literally, they literally have a gold satellite up in space looking into the future. Because I mean, you can't look at time. So like, what are they look? They're looking into the future.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, it gets so deep. Everything, all technology right now is ran on silver. Silver is not an unlimited metal. So on the investment aspect of it, collect it now while the price is low. Because everything. Matter of fact, OG, how about this? JFK, Executive Order 1111.
Gold standard, silver standard. That's when he issued the silver certificates. The silver certificates was United States Treasury notes, bypassing the Federal Reserve, and the currency was being backed with silver, and it was overturned by Nixon.
G, when you just said, when you start putting knowledge out there, you get your top blown off, right?
Allegedly.
Executive Order 1111. Executive Order 1111. Never mind. I ain't talking about nothing. That's neither here
No,
nor there.
No, because when you said to get the top blow, though, something popped up. So go ahead, go ahead.
The order was to put silver and gold back into the community, because that was the power. Whoever has the gold makes the rule, the golden rule, right? When Gaddafi tried to give Farrakhan all that gold for black, they blocked that. We keep on saying this like rhetorically, but I can't let that shit slide. Y'all don't want to give us shit in America, so-called the U.S. government, but you damn sure don't want to let nobody else give it to us, because Gaddafi been trying to give us gold. Now, when Gaddafi tried to give us gold, imagine what the price would have, that would have changed everything for us. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, no, shit.
I get that too, and that's real. But that goes back to so many people in the tribe. I'm trying to keep up with saying about how
10%.
Dr. Blair and all that, and Bobby Hemmett, but and I forgot about Brother Khalid Muhammad. He was another powerhouse. But I say all that to say I agree with everything you just said, but I don't really see, like, it ain't, to me, it's just my own personal little I guess theory, or what I feel, what I'm picking up, or what I've been kind of hit with in these Ashe streets in these last days and times, is that it don't even matter no more, because where we at now, I feel like everything is going to be like literally collapsed and crushed and buried, and then rebuilt and kind of like orchestrated or reconfigure it back into what it was supposed to be, or what it has the capability or the potential to be from times of immemorial. So is that, I mean, what do you feel about that, Big Chief, in regards to like what we're seeing now with this transformation phase that we're in right now?
Well, it's hard for everybody to see the same thing, first of all, because you can only see to your level. You can't see to the level above you. Everybody is at a different stage of their awakening, but it's not until the ones that's lagging behind wake up that we see the major shifting, right? I was telling I think it was Young Elder, no, Brother Rich, that's between September and October something major gonna happen.
Yep, I saw that.
I don't know I can't tell you what it is, but today in my story I put up there's a fast moving object in space that's gonna get here in September. I think it's September or October. And it's gonna go between Mars and Jupiter, moving at 54 miles a second. That's sinking.
54 miles a second. Yeah, that's moving, because you consider 54 miles per hour that ain't a very fast speed, but it's fast enough to make some things.
It's 54 miles a second. That's 54 times 60 to get the hourly speed.
Yeah, that's moving. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. That's moving. Because 54 miles an hour ain't slow. You talking about a second.
Chief, you said something earlier about Georgia, right? Georgia just got hit with a meteorite.
Yeah.
Mathing ain't all that mathing, it don't be mathing to me because a meteorite just hit them. No boom, no big crater, none of that. They found a little bitty blue stone. Or so they say. It might be lying about who found it. But the person that said they found it found a little bit blue stone and a little bit small crater. But there was no for the way that meteor was coming down, you would think it was going to have a hit impact. These things are slowing down and landing, bro. Like it's so much going on in the universe right now with crystal technology. But that's also goes back to what Malachi Seyor said, like the crystal cities and them coming down, and everything else, crystal technology. So it's like even in the Bible, they talk about the crystal city. They said the New Jerusalem will be based on those 12 gemstones. We talking about gold and silver, but we don't even like. America's big on getting everybody else minerals. Nobody understands how many minerals America really has.
America got just as much wealth as any other country on the planet, including Africa. They want us to believe that Africa the only place they have massive amounts of wealth because under the warlock, they can't use our wealth. All they can do is stockpile it. The only people that can use our oil is the military. Right? So they tell us that it's not that much over here, but if it wasn't, why the hell they over here still? They came over here to pillage, steal, and rob us blind. And I know that from the first charter of the Bar Association, when they told them to pillage and rob using the law.
Yo, back to that real quick.
I'm down to 6%, Orisha.
My bad. Real quick before I let you go, Chief. Back to when we were talking about JFK and the executive order, right? Who is it? The same people that whole Jekyll Island thing, right? Can you explain why they're manipulating the price of gold and silver? What is the price manipulation about?
Well, you gotta remember the Jekyll Island is where them chiefs is buried at that they did the money rituals over before they signed the Federal Reserve into power. Right?
Whoa. Can you say that one more time?
If you go to Jekyll Island, they have tombs of chiefs. That was the wealthiest chiefs on the land. And they did blood rituals and money rituals over their corpses, over the sacred site, before they signed on the Federal Reserve in, I think, 1913. That's what's called the creature from Jekyll Island. That's what they're talking about.
That's deep. Now, does that relate to the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story?
The creature from Jekyll Island is the story of it's a book, and it's the story of the Federal Reserve. The only thing is they don't tell you the occult part. The esoteric part was the rituals that was done. You have to actually go there. I actually sent Orisha Stone there. He's seen it. He know what I'm talking about.
Chief, this is the crazy part. Now we're on the Esoteric channel, right? So we just gave you all these different little cheat codes. If you hear, you know what I'm saying? If you don't, you don't. But the thing is, somebody like yourself, you be doing juju, you be working magic, right? We be working these pots. We should all be fucking the ass up once a year. We should all go to Jekyll Island and put in some work once a year. Look, listen, I survived. I'm still alive. If I did it, that means everybody else can do it too. We can fuck their ass up once a year. That's especially the priests.
They sent them over with though. We ain't gotta do nothing to them no more.
But ever since we did it, the gold and silver been flowing. Yeah. That was a couple years ago.
That was your responsibility though. That was you doing your dirty bookman work. Just like Phoenix had to go down there too.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it ties back into unlocking the wealth for Haiti to get their paper right.
Now, it sounds good, right, Chief? Except for we got documentation on everything we just said that we did this years ago, that they just passed the law last week and Haiti just doing their thing and everything. You see what I'm saying? Like everything has been written and spoken as truth and type shit.
Yeah, I'm at 3% now.
Yeah,
Man,
we
please,
got.
goddamn.
We gotta get. But real quick, and I'm a. Hopefully, I can get this before Big Chief got to sign out. Tribe, I ain't get a chance to get all the messages, man. But I appreciate the love, support. We had another real one tonight. But when you say that, like everything that was said, I personally, everything that I speak about when you said working them pots, Orisha Stone, like that's real, and I'm gonna tell you how real it is. With this conversation that happening today on a Shango day, I bullshit you not, and I got receipts. The day that I was officially consecrated with Shango was the day that the devil in London expired. Right now we talking about like how did we talking about something. So, but I'm gonna leave that alone. We talking about working them.
I call her Queen Elizabeth, bitch.
Well, yeah, that dragon reptilian bitch is out of here. But I remember Kaaba
Pay attention to what happened to the money when she died. Like we can go. That's why I said when we tap into Rod, he's a whole library because he was breaking down. He didn't do it today, but he breaking down every piece of money is a library, and they use her face for a reason. So get that piece of silver with her face on it. Let me melt it down, and let me put Queen Khalifa face on it. You see what I'm saying? Let's put Chief Rod face on it. You see what I'm saying? So when we get back into our money, I'm telling you, ever since we did it, the gold and silver been flowing in, and now they passed a law saying, "Yo, by the way, gold and silver, and the finish line, gold and silver is the so-called new currency."
Hey,
so
well, we got a whole nother currency that's going on right now. It's called Ashe, and boy, we spreading this Ashe out in these Ashe streets and across the globe, man. So with that, Tribe, I appreciate every single last and first one of y'all's. I really, really do. Big Chief, appreciate you. You know what it is. Nabi, Baba, Orisha Stone, you already know. Like this has been real, man. Shout out to B-Dell. We got the Big 3 show coming back, I think Sunday with that too. And I got some more stuff that I'm working on, making it do what it do as soon as possible, family. So I definitely appreciate every one of y'all, man. And yeah, please like, share, subscribe. We'll see y'all on the next episode. This has been another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Bami. Shout out to the Big Chief, Rod Hayes in the building, and Orisha Stone. Family, we'll see y'all on the next episode. We out. Odabo. Peace.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé ṣàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo ṣe ní gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your